Hey guys, let me show you how to use Photopea.com to make a logo for our next project. So Photopea is like the equivalent of Photoshop, but we don't have Photoshop in our Mac lab, so we'll use Photopea. So first you want to navigate to Photopea.com and you'll come to this opening screen. And so we'll click on New Project. Okay, and so as you can see, there's a lot of different templates that you can follow looking at the various size items that you might want to make. But we're going to make a custom sized item. So let's just put this up here as our name. We'll call it name logo. All right, and so width is automatically defaults to pixels. We want it to be inches. So let's go to the drop down list here and change it to inches. So for our project, let's go, let's say 10 inches wide by, let's say 3 inches high. For our DPI, dots per square inch, meaning what can display on your screen, we're going to stick with 72 because for now, let's assume that you would be making a logo for either a website or like just for like a video. So when you're showing something on a computer monitor can only display 72 dots per square inch. And so if you go bigger than that, and let's say this is a graphic you're going to make for your website, all you're doing is making your file size bigger, but you're not changing the way that the viewer sees the object. So stick with 72. If you were printing something out, then you would want to go with a higher DPI so that you get a crisper printout. But we're not printing this out, so therefore leave it at 72. As for our background, let's go to the drop down list for here, and let's go with transparent, and then we'll say create. So you're going to see just a white box, which is kind of on the small side. So I'm going to move me to over here. All right, and let me move my controls over if I can. Let's see if I can move these controls over. Yeah, let's get these out of the way. Okay, I'll just stick these over here for now. Okay, so first of all, you might want to view this a little bit bigger. I was looking over here because in the real Photoshop, there's a zoom over here where you can make what you see here bigger. So let's just go up to view and let's go to zoom in to make that bigger to work with. All right, so we're going to be looking over here at the toolbar area, and we're going to be looking over here at what's called the layers panel. And so this is our base layer. We always leave our base layer blank. So I'm going to come over here where the layer for the background is that they give us, and I'm just going to rename that to base layer, and enter. All right, so now what I want to do is just for the project that we're going to do, we're going to just do our name in like some kind of a script. So these are all of our tools over here. And notice the tools have a little caret in the corner of them. If I hold that little caret down, that means every tool that you use has like a sub tool underneath it. So we have our type tool, our text tool, and then underneath it, if you want to do like some kind of a vertical text, you could do that too. So we're going to go with type tool. And then any tool that you choose over here, the options for it change up here. So let's go first and find a font. So I'm going to try to find some kind of a scripty font. So this Birthstone looks like a scripty font. So I'm going to choose that. And then here's my font size. So I'm going to put something, I don't know, maybe like something like 75. And if I want to make it bigger or smaller, I can. Okay. And then I'm just going to type in here, I'm going to type my name, Jill Perry Ising. And obviously I can make that a lot bigger. So notice that what it did over here was it gave me a layer because I started typing my name. It created a new layer for me. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to name this, and I'm going to just write my name as the layer name. Now, if I wanted to change this, I have two ways I can change the size of this font. I could come right here on the T in the layer, on that T logo, double click on it. That highlights my letters here, and then I can come up here and I can bring this up. Okay. And then what I would do at this point is see how it's like all off, like off centered. I click on the arrow over here, and that allows me to take this and drag it back, and I'll kind of eyeball it. All right, so that's one way to get it bigger, and then to move it and center it. Another way to get it bigger is I could have gone over here to edit, free transform. And once you do that, you get these like little square holders on the corners. It makes it look just like any other piece of clip art, so you can make it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to make mine look just like that. Use my arrow again and center it. And you can see as I'm holding my mouse button down, you see a red crosshair kind of over the letter Y. That shows you that you're centered. All right. So what I'd like to do with this now is I'd maybe like to add some more color. So I could, if I was clicked on my text, like if I was about double clicked here, I could change the color of the text right here. So if I wanted it to be red, for example, I can do that. I'll put my arrow back on and you can see it. But I kind of want it to be like a gradient color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to where I have the layer for my name. I'm going to click to the right of my name. I'm going to double click in that. And that brings up what's called the layer style menu. And on the layer style menu, I'm going to choose gradient overlay because that's going to give me two colors. and it changes it to like white to gray to black, but I want to pick my own color. So if you double click right on the word gradient overlay, that changes the menu choices over here within the menu. So to pick your two colors where it has gradient, it shows you the black to gray to white. I'm going to click in here to bring up this sub menu. Let me stick it over here for now. And then these little doohickeys, these little boxes, if I click in them, it shows you a color choice here. So I'm going to go with pink and say okay. And then my second color, I click on the box over here and choose another color. And I think I'll go with the blue and choose okay. So now I've got this nice like pink to light blue gradient. So I like that. So that looks good enough for a logo. If I wanted to maybe put an outline around it, if you click on stroke, obviously I don't think the red looks good, but just like I did before, if I double click on the name now for stroke, it changes my menu choices here. So like 3 is kind of a little bit thick. Maybe I'll change this down to 2. I can use the slider, or I can physically type my number here. So maybe I'll make that a 2. And then I can change my color here. So if I wanted to get something maybe like that dark blue there, I can say okay, and I get more of like a purpley blue color. All right, so I'm going to say okay to all that. So that's it. That's my logo. So anytime I work in Photoshop, or in this case Photopea, I usually save my file twice. I save it once as a Photoshop document, which is called a PSD file, so that if I want to come back in and edit it later on, I can. And then I also save it as a graphic file. And in our case, we're going to save it as a PNG file, .png, because PNG files give you a transparent background. And that's what we would want to do if we were going to put this onto a website or in a video. So I'm going to come over here and go File. When it says Save as PSD, that means as Photoshop document. So Save as PSD. I'm going to choose my period 5A folder. You choose whatever your class folder is. And I have it called Name Logo. So I'm going to say Save. But I can't put a PSD file into a website or a video. So now I also have to export it, in this case, as a PNG. So I'm going to come over here again and go File. And this time I'm going to go Export As. And I'm going to say PNG. I could, if I said JPEG, that would give it like a white background behind the object. So I don't want that. So that's why I'm going PNG, because it'll give me a transparent background. So PNG. And I pretty much just say yes to everything that comes up over here. So save. And once again, I'm going to choose my period 5A folder, and I'm going to stick my name logo in the period 5A folder. So I'm going to say save. And then I can turn around and I can say go into either Apple Motion or Apple Final Cut and import that object. And then it would have a transparent background. I could put it on top of my video, or if I had a website, I could put it on top of my website. So that's how you're going to create the logo for your next motion project.